So today I want to talk to you about how to work from your list and track your business. So here's what we're going to cover today: how to get organized, how to create your list and system, an inside look at how I work from a list and do my power hour, and then bonus tips and advice. So I want you to always remember this when you're working. You are born with the ability to change someone's life. Don't ever waste it. I really feel like this business is such a gift, and the more people that we can help, the better. So I hope that what we're going to go over today will help you out with your business so you can be organized and work from your list and reach even more people this year. So let's talk about getting organized. So I use my phone for everything. Here are some of my top tips for using your phone to get organized. The first thing I use is the Notes app in my phone. I use this to jot down ideas. So anytime you think of a person you need to talk to, or you think of something you want to post on your page, or you have an idea for your team or your challenge, just jot it down in the Notes app in your phone. It's also a good place to add, if you meet people that you're speaking to out and about, or anything else you need to remember, to-do list, things to add. Always be starting new notes in your phone and just keeping track of things and not trying to keep track of it all in your head. Another thing that I like to do is set alarms. I set tons of alarms in my phone. The main ones are to remind customers about their auto ship. I think this is kind of going above and beyond, but I like to contact people and let them know before their next shipment goes out to see how they're liking it, check on if they want to change the flavor, maybe they might be interested in the discount, just to give people a heads up on their shipment going out again. I also like to set alarms in the morning to remember to post in my group pages and to just really be consistent in there. It's another great tool to follow up with people. So when I set alarms, I'm actually going into the calendar app and creating an event and then setting an alarm to go off 5 minutes before the time. So that's what I use it for. I also, of course, use it to remind myself when we have calls and team calls and that kind of thing too. So set alarms in your phone to just keep you on track and keep you on your toes. Another thing that I use on my phone is the AnyDo app. Now, there's tons of different apps, so make sure you are using what works for you. But I found this one's really easy to use, and then it syncs between my tablet and my phone. So AnyDo basically has today, tomorrow, upcoming, and someday are the categories. And if you've done the 30-day push, you know that's kind of how Shalene has you break things up. And then on the notes, on the actual, if you type in a task, you can create a note on that task with more information. You can set recurring ones. It's a really easy tool to use and keep you organized. Then, of course, we're going to go into this too, but Evernote. Evernote is a free app, and it's on your computer, your phone, your tablet. And what you do in Evernote is you can create folders and files with notes. So you can have folders for coach training information, for quotes, for inspiration, for prospects, for special releases coming out, things you want to send to people, your favorite webinars, links for YouTube videos. You can really create folders and files for anything in Evernote. And this is a really cool tool because you can search things easy. I have things, I like Mindy Wender a lot and Janelle Summers, and I have some of their webinars recorded, so I can type Janelle and then the webinars will all pop up in my Evernote. So Evernote is a really great tool. If you're not using it, I recommend that you do that right away. And then, of course, the Google Drive, which we're going to use for our mega spreadsheet list. But this is a place where you can save files. I save all my team files here. I save my taxes. I have a spreadsheet every month of when I'm spending money on my business and keeping track of that. I keep my mega spreadsheet in the Google Drive. I keep my daily numbers there. And this is also a tool where you can sync it up to any computer, any phone, any tablet, and you can have access to all of your information. So if you do travel a lot, or you're at work and at home and you don't have a way to sync a spreadsheet up, this is a really great tool to use. It's really easy. All right, so we're going to work on creating your list and system. So like I said, this is what works for me. Feel free to take things from here and make it your own. Try out what I do, whatever you need to do, but you need to be creating your own list and system. So I'm going to share what I do, and I hope this helps you out. What you're going to need is a notebook, a planner. A Franklin planner has both a notebook and planner, so that's what I use now. In the beginning, I just used a planner and a notebook, and then a Google Drive spreadsheet. So you're going to need to create that account, the Google Drive account. It's free, and create this mega spreadsheet. So we're going to cover that too. But I wanted to share this quote with you. Success is not easy, and it is certainly not for the lazy. I feel like this is not the fun part of our business, but it needs to get done. And if you want to treat your business like a business, you need to be working from your list and your mega list. All right, so let's create our list and system. This is my Franklin planner. I'm obsessed with it. Like I said in the beginning, I just had an assignment book and I had a notebook. And so when I'd write in the notebook, I would always date it, and I had different sections. But you can see here the Franklin planner, there's a little orange tab up there. You can separate your notes and put everything into one booklet. So I carry this with me all the time now. But I have my to-do list. So, you always want to be writing out your to-do list, and then your appointments. So who are you calling during the day? You can block off your schedule. When are you going to work out? When are you going to work your business? When do you do personal development? You can set that all up in your appointment book. Now, as far as the notebook, this is where you're going to just put pen to paper. I like to write in the notebook my new conversations, my invites, my new friends, and my follow-ups. So don't wait another day to start the small disciplines that will lead you in the direction of your goals. If you have not been doing some kind of list and tracking system, it's okay, but starting now, you need to start doing this every day you work your business so that you can do those small disciplines and make bigger things happen. Another tool that I use for my list is the business activity tracker. I actually just created something really similar, and then Beachbody came out with this, so I had to throw it in here last minute. But you can find this by going to News and Training, Coach Training Academy, reference materials. It's a new business activity tracker, and it's amazing. It has on there, being a proof the product works, personal development, staying connected, social media, posting 3 times a day, adding 2 to 5 people a day, inviting people to a challenge, inviting people to the business, following up existing customers, and connecting with my team. And then it has a nice follow-up list. Or you can use the one that I created, which looks really similar to theirs. Same types of things, but now you kind of have room to fill in the blank. So if you're not noticing between these 3 things, the main thing here is writing things down and getting it out of your head. As your business grows, you are not going to be able to keep track of everything and everyone in your head. So you need to find a system that works for you. I like to look at the business activity tracker or this weekly tracker and kind of build my day off of that. Or you can just fill it in directly on here. Whatever you want to do, find a system that works for you. All right, so now you need to create your list and system. Here we go again. So I showed this last time at Coach Camp, and it was kind of overwhelming to people, but I'm going to break it down, and hopefully it won't be too overwhelming for you. This is my mega spreadsheet or my list, whatever you want to call it, that I keep in the Google Drive. Like I said, the Google Drive, say that fast, it's kind of funny. It basically stores everything, and you can access it from anywhere. So I like to use Google Drive over Excel just because it's easier to do. So you create the document, and what you're going to be filling out is your prospect's first and last name, their contact information, so phone number, email, text, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, how are you contacting them? You need to write that down. What type of person is it? Are they interested in your challenge? Are they interested in Shakeology? Do you think they might be a good coach? Have they just kind of brought up Beachbody? Just kind of jot down that. And then notes. So in the notes, I'll write initial, which means initial conversation was started, and I'll date it. And then I'll also write, and you can see contact 1, 2, 3, 4 and solution. It does take people a lot of different exposures before they sign up sometimes. You might need to send them a webinar and then invite them to a what is coaching call the following week. So this is why keeping your list, out of your head and keeping track of it and dating things is going to help your business. So I have color coordinated my spreadsheet just because for me it's easier to take a glance at it and see who I need to talk to next. So blue means I sent people samples. Green means they ordered, they're a customer or they're a coach. Red means they're not interested. Maybe they signed up with someone else, they've ignored you, or they've just said no, which I totally don't just write red people off. I'll still talk to them and be friends with them. White means you're still chatting with people. Yellow means they're on the fence. Maybe you're still kind of talking about it, they're not sure. Pink means special occasion. I have a lot of friends now at this age who are having a baby, getting married, and these are things you want to remember so you can be there for them and you can be a good friend. You don't have to ask them a million times when they're due or any of that stuff. It's just good to keep track of. And then purple means you sent them a webinar and they watched it. So this is what I like to do, and I'm going to go over how I actually use this. But like I said, you're just really keeping your list in a spreadsheet. So I want you to go home and do this today if you have not done it yet. Has anyone done a spreadsheet? All right. Hopefully you're raising your hands at your computer. Now I'm going to give you an inside look at what my day looks like and how I actually do my power hour. So step 1 is I start with that notebook, or you can start with the tracker, whatever you need to do. So in that notebook, I set goals for my hour. How many conversations do I want to start? Today I wanted to start 10 new conversations. Yesterday I didn't have as much time. I only wanted to start 5. In the beginning, when I was a brand new coach, I did the bare minimum for a long time, which was 2 people a day. That's all I did. So it's up to you. Set a goal for yourself. How many new conversations do you want to start? How many people do you want to invite to a challenge or a business opportunity? Like I said in the beginning, I just did 2 a day. That was it. Now I might try to invite 10 people to a challenge or a business opportunity. Then follow-ups, I don't write a number down for these. This is kind of once you've invited people and started new conversations, then you go through and, continue to follow up with people and talk to people. And then how many new friends do you want to add to your list every day that you work your business? So another inside look is part 2, how I use the spreadsheet. So like I said, I write everything down in my notebook or on my tracker. Then I open up my spreadsheet. From there, I'm going to add all those new conversation people from my notebook onto my mega list. And like I said earlier, I'm going to just put in their name, contact info, and then, initial conversation and the date. Then I'm going to look through my spreadsheet of people I've already started initial conversations with and see who I need to follow up with or who I need to continue the conversation with. And so I'll write on the spreadsheet something like chatting and date or forming, date, still talking to, and I'll just kind of write that in so I know I talked to that person. Then I'm also going to look at my spreadsheet and see who I've chatted with for a while and who can I invite. So have I been talking to this person for a couple days now? Is this a good time to invite them? And then if I do invite them, I'll say how I invited them and I'll date it. So maybe I've used a GoPro approach and I'll put the date in. Or maybe I've invited them to the challenge. Maybe I've invited them to the free challenge. I just like to keep track of what approach and what I'm inviting them to so I can follow up with them properly. And then from there, after I've gone through, added people, followed up with people, I'll also just kind of update colors on the spreadsheet and do one glance at it. So if I notice someone hasn't responded to me in a while and I've tried to message them once or twice, I'll just make them red. Or if someone ordered, I'm going to make it green just so I can see where I'm at with that. Make sense so far? Okay, so now what am I actually saying to people? This is what people really want to know. New conversations. When I say I want to start 10 new conversations, this is exactly what I'm saying. If it's someone that I'm already friends with, I'll say, hey, Sarah, how's it going? You crossed my mind and I wanted to get back in touch. What's new? Or I'll say something like, thank you for liking my page. Are you into health and fitness too? If there's someone that I've added from my like page. Just so you know, you cannot message people on your like page. To message them, I have to copy their link from the like page, paste it in my Facebook page, and then friend request them. And then if they accept me, I message them. That's a whole nother story, but I can go over that more later if you'd like. And then from there, once we start talking, I go ahead and I form them. Hopefully you've heard of forming before. It's a Danny Johnson acronym. Stands for Family, Occupation, Recreation, and Message. And what I like to do is just start by asking, what do you do for work? What keeps you busy? Like I said, are you into health and fitness too? Any plans this weekend? How's your year starting out? Just keep it a casual conversation and see where it leads. I really like this quote, a simple hello could lead to a million things, because it's so true. Christina added me on Facebook, and I just kept seeing what she was doing, and I reached out to her. Same with some of my coaches. We've met through Facebook. I've just said hi to them and started to talk to them and got to know them, and then eventually invited them to a free challenge or to watch a webinar. So you never know who's out there, who's meant to be in your life and in your business, but you have to be starting these conversations. All right, so from there, we're going to keep the conversations rolling. Still on inside look here. So once you talk to someone for a little bit, you can send them a message saying, I've been meaning to ask you, have you ever considered joining my 5-day free challenge, joining my challenge group, doing what I do, becoming a coach yourself? You can kind of finish the sentence however you think is appropriate. One tip I have for you is don't feel like you need to ask someone a gazillion questions before you throw this in there. You'll know. You should have some kind of instinct or know when a good time is, or maybe you've set a date for your free challenge. A free challenge is so easy to invite people to because what do you have to lose? You're giving them free tips and a free meal plan and holding them accountable. So just ask them. And a lot of times, remember, no means not right now. So just put that question out there. Another question that you need to be asking, or you can ask it a different way, is, do you know someone who might be interested in my next challenge? So this is a really good thing to say because it's a very indirect way of asking someone, or maybe you really don't think the person you're asking is going to be interested, but they might have friends who might want to join your challenge or your business, so you can ask in that way too. Another thing I say is, if I sent you a quick video, would you watch it? I learned after Danny Johnson and GoPro, Eric Wore, but don't just send your link out to people and expect them to want to sign up. You need to respect their time and see if this is something that's going to be an interest to them and make sure that they want to watch it. And then another paragraph that I got from Mindy Wender's training is, I've got to ask you, have you ever considered becoming a coach yourself? The reason I ask is because I think you would be awesome at it. You love fitness and you are so personable with others. Also, I think it would benefit you because you are a stay-at-home mom and you've talked about wanting to make a little extra money. If you want more info, let me know and I will send you the details. So that's another way you can invite people. But this page right here, these are the questions you need to be asking your list if you want to have challenge groups and if you want to build a business. So here is some bonus advice. Customers, I have a spreadsheet. I've created some new spreadsheets because I'm a dork and I like spreadsheets. No, it's actually just easier to keep track of things this way. But I've created one just for customers. So this is for people who have ordered. One of my awesome coaches decided, and I should have been doing this too, to call one customer a day. So a lot of times we do have some restricted leads or people that we just have their emails. So if you don't have a phone number, you can email them. But I suggest you try to call or text or message one person, one of your current customers a day, just to say hi and check in and see how they're doing. So to run the report, I've shown you how to do it here, but the back office does this for you, and all you need to do is contact the person. So this is a good way to stay in contact with your current customers. Like I said, always treat them like gold, send them thank you cards, send them Christmas cards, reach out to them and just see how they're doing. Then another sheet I've created is for potential coaches. I've just started doing this because it's really important to make sure that we are inviting 3 to 5 people to watch the webinar a week. And I'm only putting people on the spreadsheet if they've watched the webinar or if I've sent them the coaching information, because it's just easier to keep track and follow up with them. Because sometimes they might be kind of interested. You send them the webinar, they're still on the fence. So maybe follow up and send them to a what is coaching call, or follow up and see if they want to join a free challenge and kind of see what the business is about. So there's different ways to follow up with people. So I just created one to keep those in one place. And then of course, Shakeology samples. I still send out samples. You don't have to now that there's a sample pack, but I like to for some people that just want one packet. And you can send them out free, or you can charge $5 for them and have them PayPal you, whatever you'd like to do. But it's important to keep track of this too. Who'd you send them to? What date? Did they pay you? Was it free? What flavor? Are they a current customer? This is all good to keep track of too, just to see if it's worth your time and effort to send samples. And a lot of times you send people a sample and they try it 6 months later. So it's good to just kind of keep track of that. Some more bonus advice and tips. How to handle a new release. I don't know about you, but this 21-day fix situation has been pretty crazy. I think I had 40 people I was talking to about it. So obviously it's kind of hard to go through a spreadsheet or flip through a notebook and try to find where all these different people are. So what I did is I created a note in my phone called 21-day fix. And I just put them in that note. And then I would also transfer that note into Evernote. And in Evernote, I'd put down the person's name. Maybe they wanted to start February 10th with me. Maybe they wanted to start the 17th. Are they interested in the challenge pack or just the workout? What did I invite them to? Did I send them a video yet? Just keeping track of it all in one place on these kind of releases is just easier. So that's another tip for you. If it's too much to go back and forth in the spreadsheet, then just create one big list. Some more bonus advice and tips. You have to be doing personal development and writing in a gratitude journal. These are both game changers for your business. So honestly, I wouldn't be standing here if it weren't for personal development, if it weren't for all the seminars I've gone to, and for just totally changing my life because of this business. So I really think you have to make time for this, whether it's on your commute, on your lunch break, during your workout, while you're doing your power hour. Whatever it is, you should be listening to audio and reading every day. And then I read the book, The Magic, a couple years ago now. And it's by the same author that wrote The Secret, Rhonda Burns. And it is amazing. It's a little 30-day, each day you have an assignment. But at the end of every day or in the morning, you are supposed to write out 10 things you're grateful for. So I want you to start with at least 2 every day. And another thing it suggests is writing out 10 things you're grateful for as if they've already happened. So I like to do this too because it's kind of like rewriting your goals every single day and, meditating on them, staring at them a little bit, visualizing them. So I have been doing this now, and it's pretty amazing some of the things that I've written down that have happened. So I would love for you to start a gratitude journal, and you can add it to your notebook, or you can create your own thing. Of course, there's apps for it, but this is just a side note, and it's been a game changer for me, so I just had to share it with you. All right, so if you have any questions, you can email me, or you can message me, call me, text me, whatever you need to do. But we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, therefore, is not an act, but a habit. So creating this list and working from a list is not the most fun thing or easiest thing to do, but you can make it a habit, and it will result in your business being amazing and excellent, and you can then teach this to your new coaches. So hopefully this has helped you out a little bit. I'd love to have some feedback. I love hearing when you do this and you see it working. I've gotten some cool feedback from coaches that aren't on my direct team, but that are still on our team, who have used this system and it's really worked for them. So hopefully you can take some good things out of this and you can make this your own and continue to help as many people possible. I was just on a vacation with my, in-laws, and I had one of the biggest weeks of my business while I was on vacation. So the reason I was able to do this was because I stay organized and I know who I'm talking to and when I need to follow up with people at all times. So hopefully this helped you, and I will talk to you soon.